Good afternoon, VV Nation. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday. Crazy day in the market. A lot of news, a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of things going on, right? All right, before we get too far ahead, I know the alert will be making its way out in just a moment. Roger says, VV Nation from Chile, Arizona. So you can hear me, you can see me, put VV in the comment section. Just let me know. AMD, cha-ching. What, you don't think we're going to talk about AMD today? I talk about AMD every other week. So why would I not talk about it today? If you're holding it, hey, you probably do not have a case of the Mondays if you got some AMD in your portfolio. Let's be honest here. All right, I'm actually going to turn this back on. I got a little fan here. Still waiting on the AC part. There we go. All right, we're good to go. Market, like I said, a lot of enthusiasm there. We got two green lights today. The only thing in red here is going to be the Dow Jones Industrial. Very little, down about 0.25%. Palantir, cha-ching. Yes, Bill, Palantir. Palantir is the talk of the town. I do have the story. I do have the story on them rebuking that claim. I know, I said as long as it's in that ascending channel, I'm not going to be too worried on Palantir. Do you like how it stopped? Right at the bottom of the channel, where are we at? Back in the channel. Got a little buffer in that channel right now. So if you're holding Palantir, that's the thing to look at. A friend of mine has CRML at 1.3 and it went over 15 fast 10 bagger. I have CRML. Remind me that, John. I'm trying to think which one is CRML. Interesting. 10 bagger. How long did that take, John? Just curious. How long did that 10 bagger take? All right, we got Amir in the house today. All right, let's get started. We're gonna start with some stories today because I got some fish for you. Even Joey brought a little fish to the table, and it's a mining company who's talking about it. I'm not telling you to get in it. Make your own decision, but you know me and a miner. I love mining companies. Where? Oh man, I got a lot of windows open. All right, there we go. First thing I want to talk about, economic news, right? It's Monday. Got to know what's about to happen in the market this week. As far as economic news, today, not much. Throughout the week, Fed, speaker. It's all week. So, interesting to see what their commentary is going to be, obviously. Tomorrow, this is going to be the big news right here. U.S. trade deficit, especially, trades everywhere in the forefront of the news these days, right? Consumer credit, 3 p.m., not going to, rock the market. It's a whole lot on that one. Wednesday, again, look at this. Just Fed. We've got the FOMC meeting Wednesday as well. Was it Thursday? Initial jobless claims. No real surprise there. Obviously, jobs are important right now, though. Friday, a little bit of consumer sentiment. But again, look, Fed, right? So just Fed speakers all week. So nothing too crazy when it comes to economic news. We'll see what they say. If they say anything, worth a headline, maybe that'll move the news. Otherwise, probably not a whole lot of movement just from the economic data. Earnings, where things get a little interesting, right? Tail end of earnings, not a whole lot of companies, but there are some interesting companies. We're going to take a look at some of these companies here. We got Constellation Brands, Air Systems, right? Thought that was interesting after the bell today. Tomorrow, we got McCormick and Company. Nothing real too big here. Wednesday, we've got this little company here, this AZZ. I'm not going to lie. Kind of turned it into a story because I like what I saw on VectorVest. I like the story behind it. This one. That's the one I'm talking about. RPG, Resources Connection. We're going to take a look at this stock. We'll dive in a little bit more, but a very interesting story here. Thursday, we got some bigger names coming out. So Thursdays were, really earnings would, play into any kind of market volatility, in my opinion. Here we got PepsiCo, Delta, Levi, Applied Digital. Big one recently we've been talking about, Tilray. If you're holding Tilray, I see the pullback on Tilray. Again, we're in an ascending channel, a big wide channel too. So a lot of volatility expected there. I think it was this Helen too. I put these in VectorVest. Hey, VectorVest makes it simple. Stock I don't really know much about. Throw it in VectorVest. I can figure it out pretty quickly. Some interesting things about this one as well. So we'll get into it. But yeah, earnings, airlines are to rent, not own. I could see that. I could see that. No news is good news. No news is good news. Bill got impatient on AMD. October. Sorry, I was just catching up with the Jazz, catching up with the comments. Jazz saying over here, Fed is going to ruin October. I saw this meme. It was like October pump. Each month had a name though. I think it was Pump December or something. It was a pretty funny meme. If I find it, maybe we could do something funny with that. CRS is doing well. Did okay with selling bearish call spreads before the turn. Back on ICs. Okay. Yep. VZ, Verizon. All right. Let's see here. Other than that, big things changing potentially with stocks in general in the market. First thing, investors aren't the market's biggest loser if Trump SEC quarterly reporting, right? They're talking about, instead of quarterly reporting, just doing twice a year. First time I covered that, didn't think it was going to garnish a whole lot of attraction, but the SEC, let's see here, new to eliminate the requirement for companies to report on a quarterly basis. It's gaining traction, right? Not saying it's going to happen. I'm not really giving you opinion one way or the either. But big changes along with this, along with other than, quarterly reportings. That's a game changer. Look at this. Day trading, right? FINRA talking about removing, the $25,000 threshold for day trading, right? I'm kind of surprised it hasn't already been removed just because, apps and rise of the retail trader. So I can see this happening. Oh, or at least that requirement coming lower. Than the 25,000. Getting rid of quarterly are a dumb. I'm not, Bill. You almost. I can't read that. I'm alive, Bill. Oh yeah. What are your picks for October? Well, AMD obviously, but I'm not gonna chase it quite yet. I wish I had to play AMD. But there's some other good ones. I talk about my picks all day, every day. You get my picks all day, every day. We got some picks today for you as well. But this is interesting. And I have a feeling this is going to create a lot more volume, a little bit more intraday volatility. But this is interesting here. Two big stories, game changers here for especially those, we trade a lot. Yep, I got to have this story here, right? AMD skyrockets 30% as OpenAI looks to take stake in AI chip maker. Now I'm going to read this, but actually I'm not going to read this because most of you guys already know what's going on here. If you don't, I'm going to cover it in tonight's video. Tonight's video is on AMD. Shocker, right? Shocker. I'm going to add a little twist to it. I haven't recorded the video yet. Iron condors. Okay, gotcha. Iron condors on that. SEC isn't going to allow getting rid of quarterly numbers. John, who knows? Who knows what the future's got in store? I'm not going to assume anything. Alfred said, why did I sell my AMD? Well, Alfred, if you did sell your AMD, it's probably because it broke out of that ascending channel. So if you were just, stopping by the AMD train as a swing trader, that made perfect sense. Or if you, took some profits, kept a little bit of a position. And hey, if you sold any AMD before, you probably kick yourself in your butt. Not that that was a bad move. And we'll take a look at the AMD. I don't think the AMD train's not over yet. I love AMD, but it's probably the stock I've talked about the most on this channel. I've been doing this about 2.5 years on the channel here. How are we feeling about AT&T? Ooh, interesting. I haven't talked about AT&T. I think maybe once. Mention it when we take some stock picks. Help me understand this stuff he's talking about. All right, Zscaler. Why I'm doubling down. Zscaler. Here's a stock throwback, right? I haven't heard you guys talk about Zscaler in the comment section in a while, so I imagine it's probably pulled back or took a hit at some point. But look, AI play. Seeking Alpha analyst. He's doubling down. Look at this. Q4, so recent earnings, 21% year-over-year revenue growth, right? Expanding large customer base. The Z-Flex, I guess that's, their pride and joy right now. Z-Flex purchasing program. Reflecting 23% upside. 300, it's got to be expensive stock here. But interesting, I'm going to put in the VectorVest. It's on the watch list today. We're going to take a look at it. But Zscaler might be an interesting play. Let's see here. Another one, Tesla. Teaser video. Speculation. Long-awaited Roadster or mass market model, right? Two things with this one, right? A, they needed to come out with a new vehicle, right? New vehicle. They're so far behind. They were ahead of the curve. They kind of lost the curve. The Roadster, the truck, everyone's got a different opinion on the truck. Where is it? Yep, they teased it. But where was it here? There it is right here. The company has seen a continuous slump in sales in Europe as it continues to face heavy competition in China. BYD, right? But there's another company other than BYD. Tesla's facing a lot of competition with China right now, right? Look at this. China players have been launching low-cost offerings in Europe and elsewhere, putting more pressure on Tesla to release model at around the $25,000 to $30,000 mark. Bill says it with Elon, keeps on coming, right? Again, it's all about the robots, right? If the stock's up today because of this story, hey, wouldn't be too surprised, but it's all about the robot. They got a lot of competition. The stock I'm actually mentioning from this is NIO. NIO, a little stock that we've talked about a little bit more recently. I even told you the story about my aunt in this whole stock. Their presence in Europe, a lot of big plans here, right? It just started in 2025, so, what's going to happen in the next earnings report and the one following that, right? The numbers naturally going to expand because they just expanded a new continent, right? And Europe's a good market. And the European automakers weren't too happy about this. That's why NIO took a little while for them to get into Europe in the first place. So don't sleep on NIO. We're going to take a look at both of them here. Another stock, Marvell. This is it right here. Risk, remain, competition, concentration, right? A lot of these companies got concentration. AMD's today got a lot of concentration, right? OpenAI is a good partner to have, though. If you're going to team up with anyone, ChatGPT, that's the team to get on. Marvell's exclusive role in Microsoft's Maya program positions it for significant upside, right? So I want to take a look at Marvell. Micron is in the list, right? As well. AMD just popped 25%, right? I'm not going to chase that one right now. I'll tell you some levels I'm looking at and see if it makes sense, but not right now. Especially me, I trade options on AMD. So with AMD just booming today, I'm not buying any options on AMD because it'll be way overpriced. So if you own AMD, selling a call today, you know how much extra premium you can get today just because of the volatility in today's move alone? Yeah, I'd probably go a little further out the strike price because it's moving, right? But you could collect some premium on AMD today. Just think about that. I'm not saying to do it, but just think about that. So this is that Microsoft deal I'm talking about. Marvell. This is what's all about with Marvell. Estimate could generate $2.4 billion 2026, right? But then potentially 10 to 12 billion. That's a big jump. What was the other company I was talking about? CoreWeave, Microsoft deal, right? These deals with Microsoft are so massive. So massive. Phyllis says, I have leaps on AMD. Well, guess what? Them leaps, not only did they go up, intrinsically in value, depending on what strike price you got, but you got a lot of extra premium just because of volatility right now, right? And I don't know what AMD is going to do, right? No one's got a crystal ball. But if, just say AMD just stays flat, right? That premium, that volatility premium you're getting right now is going to decrease dramatically as AMD just stays flat. I don't know what it's going to do, but we'll take a look at the chart in just a moment. But this is a big deal. Just like CoreWeave's big deal with Microsoft. I'm doing the math here, even looking at the market cap. It's exploded. It's potentially going to explode off this deal, right? Palantir. I didn't even pick a story. I see it, right? They're refuting the claim. I said that in the video. I was just going off with the news, right? But I said in the video, as long as it's in that ascending channel, where did it find support? Right at the bottom of the ascending channel, right? It's still in the channel. So Palantir, don't worry about it too much right now. Here's another one. This is that earnings company, this RPG company, right? This is interesting. This stock here. This one right here is let me take the mouse real quick. Joey, AI company, RGB, global professional services firm, today announced the launch of RIQTM, a proprietary AI accelerator, right? AI accelerator, I like it. And this all has to do with ServiceNow. So it is an intelligent framework built on the ServiceNow and designed to complement ServiceNow. ServiceNow, way overvalued. Expensive stock. This stock, I'm told you, I'm looking for low dollar growth stocks, right? Big name. And this is undervalued. That's why it's on the list here. We'll take a look at the VectorVest System. RGP, one to have on your radar. Another one, Northern Dynasty. This is actually stock Joey just mentioned here. Minerals company. I've said it before. ABB says put in iron. I don't care if you're mining Bitcoin, Ethereum, a rare earth, a lithium, a gold, a silver. I like it. This is a mining company. And Joey's up big on it right now, so I'm not saying buy it today. He's up. I don't know if I'm going to put Joey's business out there, but he's good trade, Joey. Good trade. He's up on it right now, so we're going to take a look at it. Let's get into the software here. Obviously, we got some fish today on a Monday, right? Monday, yeah, still holding good, though. Dow Jones, not too surprised. I just kind of down a quarter, not doing a whole lot. But NASDAQ still showing that enthusiasm. 143 to the upside. Let's go over to the viewers here. Let's do news first, and then we'll do earnings. We'll do news, earnings, and then your picks. And there's going to be some fish along the way here. Yep, we got Tesla, Micron here. Look, Micron up 3%. AMD 28%, $211. Value 165. You had some value opportunities. I've only done maybe 852,000 videos on AMD, so hopefully you bought it somewhere along the way. Or you sold it. Hey, but hopefully you just made some money on AMD. But it's up big today, 28%. Whew. Marvell, at no surprise, this enthusiasm AMD is going to spread to the usual semiconductor suspects. That's why they're in the list here. That's why you see NVIDIA. I thought I added TSM. I wanted to see what TSM was doing here. Sorry, the pressure. Whew. If you're here in North Carolina, you know the leaves are coming down and the allergies are starting. Joey making bags on his picks. It's always the quiet one. I told Joe, I was like, you know, the people want that JPI. They want the JPI, right? But yeah, the enthusiasm, it is there in the market, right? And just speaking on the market, just throwing this out there. Where is it at right here? VectorVest composite. You know, again, we don't do a whole lot of the color guard these days on the YouTube channel. We're an ascending channel. At no surprise, think about all the ascending channel. Do you think I just like the word ascending channel? No, but Palantir, AMD, so many stocks have been moving an ascending channel lately. No surprise, the VectorVest composite moving an ascending channel, right? What's my saying? Ping when you're supposed to ping, pong when you're supposed to pong. Don't ping when you're supposed to pong, right? Just play it up and down. Right now, if I move this line up, right, we got a little bit more upside, and then potentially there might be some downside, right? We're just, the market's playing an ascending channel. So until we break this ascending channel to the downside, you know, try to get as much money out of it as you can, right? It's the name of the game. All right, let's go back to the viewers tab. But again, bullish right now. Marvell looks good, 3%. Tesla up 4%. Just the valuation on Tesla. They got to get the robots out. They got to get that automated stuff out. Hood, okay. So I bet I could just imagine Hood's probably up today too, if I was to guess. Zscaler. Let's look at the charts here. We got a lot of stocks to cover with 1218. Micron. I don't like that big upper wick here. I don't like that big upper wick. I'll be honest with you right now. Let's use RT. What's RT telling us? It's still, RT's telling me it's a 0 to 2 scale, and we're at 1.95 right now. Not saying it can't go up, but we're, you know, kind of maxed out on that scale, pretty close to it, right? So again, I'm not going to be the chaser of it, especially if you're more of a longer term investor. If you're more of a long term, you got some patience. Look for the retest off this. Look for the retest off that. It's 170. Was it 194? Potentially happens. See if we get some follow through on this upper wick to the downside. We'll see. I'm looking a little bit more bearish in the short term, just because of this candlestick here right now, but not bearish enough to, you know, pull any kind of trigger at this time. Overall, though, the value, another day, the value just ticked up. I love Micron. It's such a good stock. Earnings per shares rocking and rolling. RT's been up quite some time now. Beautiful stock. Here's AMD giving it away. All right, let's talk about it. We're going to talk about it. Would you take MU profits? Phyllis, again, it has to do with your trader. Are you an investor? If you got 100 lots, you know, you can always do covered calls, things of that nature. But at least in the short term, that stock chart, those candlesticks are telling me potentially get ready for a little bit of a pullback, right? I don't know what price you bought it at, right? But that would be my inclination, just, you know, in the short term, a little bit of a pullback there. But really just, you know, but don't make any decision. Look for the follow through on that candlestick tomorrow. AMD, solid wick. Yep. I'm not surprised. Look what happened last time it got up to these levels, right? So let's look at it here. Boom. Oh, who's surprised? Rejection. And I imagine it's going to get close to this body here. So let's see. Oh, woohoo. Yeah, look at that. I've just filled that wick right up. All I'm going to say about AMD is, I traded a lot. It trades like a retail stock. And like retail stocks, they don't like gaps. So if we do break below this body here, really, right here, give a little bit more extra room just in case it comes back down. I mean, the retest level, the perfect retest level would be around 187. Right now we're at 212. We're already giving up. People taking profits on AMD right now. I mean, the stock was less than $100. Now, yeah, I'm not surprised people taking profits, right? Not surprised at all. If it drops much below this right here, much below 202, then yeah, right? And then me personally, as a trader on AMD, I'd be salivating if AMD fills this gap. I'm looking for the pivot on this. Put some options on, I'm telling you right now. And that's my AMD trade. Overall, look at the stock. AMD earnings, phenomenal. The trend in the favor of the bulls. Got one of the biggest, partnership with, not one of the biggest, but the biggest AI play, software side. NVIDIA's the king on the hardware side. ChatGPT, OpenAI, right? They're the king on the software side. So, great partnership, great stock. But those are the levels I'd be looking at right there. You got to ask yourself the question, though, what you want to do. But right now, if you are owning a lot of AMD, you could probably collect a lot of premiums just selling calls. Just saying that out there. AMD was above 200 back in March 2024, and look what happened next. Yeah, Tabula. Yeah, no, it happens. Looks like a reverse head and shoulders on AMD. A reverse head and shoulders. I have to take a look at it. But TSM moving up nicely. It's actually overvalued now. I do see a little bit of an upper wick there. Again, this stock, another big company, are $200 up to $300 now. A lot of money on the table. It's TSM. It's it's the king of the manufacturing. Those are the three kings, right? ChatGPT, NVIDIA, and TSM. That's the hardware, the manufacturing, and the software side. But yeah, looks good. NVIDIA, I mean, just a lot of momentum. NVIDIA, there's the, let's go to 6 months here. If I extend this little line out here, move this out of the way. Probably, yep, perfect. There is the touch from the top of the channel with, a touch from the bottom of the channel with a little bit of a pullback. And no surprise, but it's still NVIDIA, still a great stock to own. And it's not overvalued or anything, right? The valuation is right on par with what investors have put the price at now. Rising earnings, still a great stock. The semis are looking good. Here's Marvell. This is a stock I want to talk about here. Look at this breakthrough. Yeah, I'm going to see. We got a gap, and I'm looking for the retest right about here, if I had to guess. One, yeah. And that's a pretty important retest, too, I would want it to see it have. But this is actually a great play if I extend this line here. Yeah, I probably could get some rejection. Get a little breather in the technicals for a pivot off of that. That's an interesting play, the Marvell. I like it. And as well, look at VectorVest. Forecasted earnings growing nicely here. Valuations growing. I mean, this was back here, you were paying a premium, not getting a whole lot more earnings per share, but now you're getting much more value with this as well. See the trade setup. But yeah, rejection in the short term. I look for the pivot off of this. But overall, RT's climbing as well. Nice stock. Here is Tesla. Again, Tesla's earnings per share dropping. It's broke up. I do like this retest here, but we got some highs. I'm not the biggest fan of this Tesla setup, but that's Tesla. It's just very volatile. And not a whole lot of good reasons for the stock to go up. NEO, this looks good. I mean, I see the consolidation here. Was this level of resistance maybe I had before? Earnings per share starting to move in the right direction. RT as well, moving in the right direction. Yep, that's that resistance. We might get a break above this. It's not bad, but that valuation does not look too good. Just the valuation. If it wasn't for the valuation, yeah, the earnings per share, it's an EV maker. I'm not surprised. At least it's kind of moving in the right direction. But I do like that trade setup. Overextended from my trend line. For my patient people, I mean, obviously the short term, I'm looking for a potential breakout here real soon. Maybe a retest. Maybe this line will catch up. But I kind of like the Neo trade. Keep Neo on your radar. Zscaler, here's a little guy we haven't talked in a while. Hasn't got our sell rating. Look at that. Our stop price keeping in the trade. I like that. It's just overvalued. Obviously, that's going to be the first caveat. Look at RT2 start picking back up in a positive territory. Zscaler, put it on your radar. Looks like a good stock. Let's go back out a little bit more here. I'm just trying to... Yeah, that's a nice retest on that pivot. This might be interesting. Let's go back out a little bit more here. Yeah. I would put some levels maybe right about here. I don't know. You have to look at this, getting to these candlesticks around 2021, 2022 for potential targets. But this could be a good stock pair. I like what I see here. Maybe a little cup forming as well. Interesting. Zscaler, put it on your list. All right, let's get back in the software here. So that was the news. So these are the earnings picks, and there were a couple interesting stock picks here as well. What is the RS in a circle? Oh, oh, because I bet that's my Teams mouse. You guys can see my Teams mouse, my Microsoft Teams, because I got Joey Teams in with me right now. Come on, Iron, you know what I mean. Up another 10% today. It is Tabula. Whew. Iron, yeah, remind me when we get the stock picks. Oh, on our, what is the RS in a circle? We'll take a look at the graphs in just above it, Bill. I'm curious as well. Here, mix on the earnings. Where's the value? That's what I wanted to look at, the value. It's this AZZ and this RGP. Both of these stocks are interesting here. Look, this one here, the AZZ's got a 17% growth rate in earnings. Positive EPS. This one here, the resources connection, RGP, that's the AI thing we're just about ServiceNow. Negative has got a story behind it, right? So let's take a look at these stocks. These are the other earnings here. Tilray's on the list, down again. Tilray, I did want to say this, right? The breather, I was telling you about this with the last marijuana healthcare stock. Taking that breather, right? Earnings could be the catalyst if you're still in the Tilray. That's a catalyst as well. We're waiting for the next, announcement. See what happens. News catalyst as far as any kind of reclassification, but interesting stocks. Graph all. There we go. AZZ. This is the first one. This is what I would look at. Look at the value rising, right? Price action. I see it rolling over. I know that. Earnings per share is rising. Potential pivots. RT did cross below 1, so don't jump in it quite yet. Where is this here? We might go back here. We might go back to $100. About right here. Yeah, and we might be. I'd put an alert on the AZZ at $100. See what happens here, because that value keeps going up. That earnings keeps going up. Do some research. Oh, it's electrical too. Man, if it wasn't that much, that hit piece was intentional to allow whales to buy cheaper shares. Anyway, you talk about the Palantir story? Yeah, probably. Any just sitting on the cusp of 92 cents, the resistance. I know. I've been looking at any. It's up. It's up big. It's on my list here. I've got a couple other stocks on that list as well. But this is interesting. It's this one here. I'll look at it. I like AZC setup. I'm gonna write this one down. I'm going to buy AMD now. Please donate. All right. So here's the other one. RGP, right? This is what I've been talking about on the stream here. Just, today. It was the earnings play. Values declining. Price declining, right? Look at value stalling out. Look at earnings per share down. Before getting too excited about this one, I don't want to see that value rise. I want to see this earnings per share start rising, right? But this is, I believe, that ServiceNow story that I got to deal with. But look at that. I mean, values decline. That is why you got to be disciplined, right? The stock can just keep going down and down. That is a perfect example of one. Again, this is another earnings play here. Don't quite see it. See 1 year. Ooh, Richer Electronics. Maybe not a bad one. Maybe not a bad. You're getting a fair value on it. It was way overvalued, but now you're actually getting fair value on it. Here's the Helen of Troy here. This is an interesting stock. Was $80. Now it's at 26. Values declining, prices declining. From a technical perspective, I do like price out, taking out the prior swing high, but I need to see that value rise before I get too excited about this one. RT above 1, so this could be a bottom fishing candidate. Going that transition from sell to holds. RT's back above 1. This is an interesting stock pick right here. HELE. Delta. No, yeah, I can see what you're talking about, Bill. This is a good swing trading stock. I'm not a big airlines person, but I would not want to hold this kind of volatility. I mean, it's kind of a little bit everywhere. High of 75, the low is 35. That's a lot of max drawdown. So I do like that for swing trading. Constellation Brands. For those of you who think you might be bottom fishing, you're getting a deal on it right now. Look at that value just still dropping. Again, I want to see that value tick up before I get too excited on this one. As far as any bottom fishing, still expensive. We got PepsiCo here. I don't like that valuation with PepsiCo. Overvalued. Here is Tilray again, ascending channel here. Oh, got my lines all messed up a little bit. You can see the ascending channel kind of right in the midway of this channel right now. So be careful of this position if you are in it. McCormick, no. ServiceNow. Nah, I didn't like this one, but I do like that RGP one, or the one I was just showing just a moment ago, a little bit better. Air Systems, a lot of momentum, but from a fundamental basis, not liking the trade. And I can see it breaking this trend line right now. So if you are in this position, you can see the short term. Oh, it's trying to catch on to it. And the RT still climbing. See if it holds. But if that RT drops below 1, don't be afraid to take some profits off the table here. Applied Digital, big move to the upside as of recently. This is a stock that we used to talk about quite a bit, but really hasn't garnished a whole lot of attention on the channel lately. But I mean, the stock going from what, about 10, 15 bucks? Double, now hit high almost to $30. I like it. Looking for Can at $1. Made great profit. That's what you're looking at, Troy? Is $1? I'm looking at Can too, bud. I am definitely looking at Can. But I'm not chasing it. I'm like you. I'm looking for that pullback on Can. This Applied Digital here, maybe use a trend line, but otherwise, definitely if that RT drops below 1. But from a fundamental standpoint here, earnings per share is dropping. Value is not going up. Be careful trying to hold this one long term. All right, let me go to graphs real quick. Oh, yeah, this is Joey's stock here. He said he's up bigly on it. I do like this. The value is not there. The earnings per share is not there. Let's do this. I just want to see the earnings growth rate real quick. Growth rate, no, that's not it. All right, I'm going to go on the technicals of it. That body, yep, that lined up perfectly. Not too surprised with that at all. There's the horizontal, a boom. Probably that gap right there. Yep, there we go. So I'm looking over here to get my levels over here. They're making sense. So if it drops much below 142, I would get ready for a little bit of a pullback, right? Maybe look for the pivot on the 20. But this is not a bad little play. Look at the news on it, though. Look, we'll have to take a look at the news on this. I know they've got a mine up in Alaska. So I think it has to do with the EPA legal battle if this thing really takes off. Interesting. I like it, though. All right, sir. Let's do... What else? Oh, here's any. I do got some other random stocks on this one. Let's see here. I was looking at Micron this morning. Any, I still like it, like 91 cents. Ah, it's such a good little value play. And look at value climbing, too. So many good stocks. I do like this one. Earnings per share moving in the right direction. What else did I have on this list here? Oh, I was looking at Tilray this morning. Can. Yep, there's my line on Can. 130. If it breaks much below it here, look for the pullback. Had some value opportunities, but not there quite yet. Let's see. Where's the other line at here? 111. Around 111 would be a nice pivot for me. That would be my... Oh, that's where that body took off as well. Yeah, that'd be a good little pivot. I like 111. We're getting close to picks. Let me get through these. What was this? AREC. Look at this guy. Over $4 now. Woo! Yes, and you better hit that like button because we are going off the likes today. As Glenn would say, what is it? 10 likes get you one stock. 10 likes get you one stock. We got quite a few people watching today, so you got quite a few stocks in today. But till then, we might be talking about some fish you might be thinking about putting in. So AREC, good fish to have, but that value and that EPS here, be careful with that. But in the long term, as long as it stays above this trend line, you know, having at least a little bit of it above that trend line. And again, this is if you already own it, probably not a bad idea. Galaxy did. Why was I looking at Galaxy this morning? They had a new brokerage platform. I don't like the value dropping. So this is a good learning point, right? There's a news article come out talking about this stock on, bonanzas. Yeah, it gapped up a little bit, but I see a doji candlestick looks like it's forming at the uptrend, at the top of this current uptrend here. Earnings per share is falling. Nah, I would do more of a technical on this trade, and I would look for a retest around here, back probably around this 35 point. Made great money on AREC thanks to VectorVest. Woo! VectorVest, one of the reasons why that was on my radar was the VectorVest valuation, other than it being rare earth, right? Let's see here. But yeah, I think that was it. And what else do I want to look at? Oh, that's right. I didn't want to look at Quantum today. Special watch list. Quantum. See what the old Quantums are doing today. Like AMD up 27% on top of the Quantum list. TSM, Google, the usual suspects, right? These companies now, stepping into the quantum realm. A lot of partnerships. And obviously, if you see companies like, these little guys, or some of these little guys, LAES or Qubit, Honeywell, if you see partnerships with some of these bigger names up here at the top of the list. IO&Q partnerships, probably going to create a lot of news. We got Microsoft on the list here. As far as Quantum, a lot of enthusiasm on this list to the upside. Let's just see. Let's take a look at IO&Q here. We got D-Wave. Look at some of the usual suspects here. Seals Corp. I like Seals Corp, actually. Let's see here. Let's take a look at Rigetti. Hey, look, Qubit. The value's dropping on QSI. I'm not liking that one here. Where's some value? UAMY's got some value here on this list. Interesting. This one likes to pop with the quantums. This WIT's got some value here. Interesting. Let's take a look at that one. And I think that's about it on that. Qualcomm, no. All right, let's look at these here. Oh, nope. Oh, no. All right. WIT, UAMY. I wanted to look. Oh, Applied Digital's on this list here. Seals Corp. We just talked about Applied Digital. They've got earnings. Hey, that's actually a good thing. So Applied Digital has exposure to quantum. They've got earnings this week. Could give another reason. I see Rigetti, IO&Q, Qubit as acquisition targets, but that's it. Interesting. Do you like IO&Q or Qubits at all? I just did a video. Oh, wait, you did at Pennywise. You're asking his opinion. I like all these stocks. It's just better to be on the right side of the trade. So, some of them are trading at premium. That's why kind of emphasize that right side of the trade. All right, right click here. Go to view stock graph. Let's take a look at these guys. change this. VectorVest simple. Add my value here. All right. Oh, wait. Hold. I guess I did highlight that. AMD. All right. So first one here. WIT. Let's go to 6 months. No. Overvalued. You see I had a trend line on here. And look at this. That's why I like, keep it simple. It broke it. Came back here. Now it's undervalued though, right? It was trading at a premium. I see the value rising, right? Especially with these quantum stocks. I want to see value rising. At least. But this might be some value opportunities here. So let's see where we get some. Interesting. I actually like that. I like this. I'd look between 231. Writing this down. WIT. See triple bottom right here too. It might just launch off from this. Who knows? But that's a triple bottom. 256 though, just in case it drops. Maybe down to 231 just in case. But that could be a triple bottom, or this could turn into a reverse head and shoulders. Look for this. I put this on your. I just wrote it down. That's all I'm going to say. I wrote it down. Whether you write it down, that's on you. Here's UAMY. UAMY, look at this. Undervalued. I like it. Still in this. I got a little consolidation channel here from a while back. What is this level from? I don't know where those lines came from. It's been a while since I looked at UAMY. All right, let's get rid of these. You know what I like right now? Just a simple. Just what do I see at first glance? Value is decreasing. Price was decreasing, right? We already saw what happened before on this stock. Now look at value went flat. Value's rising. Price is rising. UAMY going on the list. There we go. Earnings per share is rising. RT letting me know, hey, look at the turnaround now. Look at this. Look at this guy. And we've got a big gap to fill. Oh, that's a split. Well, that split was after the gap. I have to do. UAMY the poo. UAMY the poo. I have to look into UAMY. That's interesting. I know Glenn had talked about the stock. That's why I was on the quantum watch list here. But interesting that value is rising and price is rising. Here's LAES. I had a resistance level here. Looks like that resistance coming to fruition. Let's go to a 1-year chart. Ooh, the value's kind of rising. It's kind of rising here. I like their quantum semiconductor applications. Just the news stories I read on it. But look, earnings per share. A lot of these quantum stocks, speculative, overvalued. Earnings per share is dropping. For me personally, I see resistance. If you got somewhere down here, again, ping when you're supposed to, pong when you're supposed to, right? Or at least, taking some pong off the table. Not a bad idea. Rigetti, whoo, to the stratosphere, out of this world, $18. I mean, this stock is phenomenal. Like I said, it's overvalued, but they have the ability to change the world with some of this quantum computing technology. Big stuff in the works here. To the moon. If you're chasing that, up to you, but that's a good move. Mate, Star Search. That's what I would use for it. Star Search. Star Search. Qubits. Still above it. Look at that. A lot of momentum to the upside. Again, this is going to be one of those stocks I could potentially. My soul is ready for picks. My soul is ready for picks. We're getting there. We're so close to picks. I swear. I swear we're close. But again, be careful, right? Overvalued. Earnings per share. Not, in positive territory. This is game-changing technology. Now, there's a lot of new players in this, right? And a lot of big players. Microsoft. TSM's now got a quantum. Who knows who's going to lead the pack in 5 years, right? But you can see where the premium's getting baked in right now. As long as it stays above this line here, hey, is what it is. I like it. I'm going to be bullish, right? I'm not going to be surprised if at some point it's going to retest this line. But look at the news, right? Probably news driven today. We've got a lot of full body candlesticks trading at session highs. A lot of confidence. Actually, let's add volume. I want to see the conviction behind this move. I mean, there's pretty big volume those 2 days. If we use a date line here, pretty big candlesticks. Yesterday and the day before. IO and Q, perfect move. I talked about this. I did this since this stock was the Investor Day. I was on YouTube. Great video. You can see the momentum is there. Again, VectorVest tells you overvalued earnings per share drive. These are speculative plays here, right? A lot of momentum to the upside. Alrighty. Joey, how many likes we got? 60 likes. You get 6 stocks. There's way more people in the room than that. So you got 6 stocks today. So the first 6 stocks coming across right now are the 6 stocks that we're breaking down today. Woo! I like it. We'll see the quick draw McGraws on the keyboard are. The first 6. All right. No point in typing anymore. First 6 are in. Nope. Didn't mean to click on that one. All right. Let's see here. Let's go to stock. Watchlist viewer. Oh, drag this over just a tad. Midday. Your picks. John, what was the stock I told you to remind me about? Boston. John Boston. And Toledo 3000, did you mean to put who or hood? Iron, yeah, Tabula. Iron made the list. All right, FTX, UAMY. At UAMY, I will do as an honorable mention. You know, that's my stock. Rocket Lab. Ooh, NBIS. I'm adding that one too. Serve. Is that Serve Now? Oh, Serve Robotics. We'll look at it. How many stocks we got? All right. Who? Oh, so you did mean who. Okay, cool. Hey, who? AutoFit. We got 9 stocks here. Oh, CRML. That's the one. No, it's up bigly today. I wanted to see that one. All right. Ryan, CRML went over 16. Now it's in the 11 range. Big mover today. And what is this who one? What is who? View stock news. View full stock analysis report. All right. Round Hill Hood weekly pay. Oh, the who is an exchange on the hood. Active managed fund distributes 1.2 times leverage exposure. 1.2 is a covered call ETF. Yep. Sorry, I was just looking that up right now. Nice. Robin Who is a growth in weekly income. Yeah, okay, I like it. I like it here. All right. Company, let's auto fit these. What do we got? UAMY at the top of the list here. Other 2%. Going back up to $8, it looks like. Flowtech. All these stocks are up today except Hood. EOS. Actually, let's take a look at Hood. Who is who? Who? All right. Serve Robotics up 14%. Trading at 15. We valued at 3. Write that one down as well. I know I've looked at it before. Bitcoin Depot. Look at this. I would tell you right now, I already wrote it down. Bitcoin, we've talked about it before, but look at this. Trading at 437. We valued at 768. It's trading half its value. It's Bitcoin Depot. The name alone tells me that the stock should be overvalued typically, right? With the retail traders, right? But it's up 13% today. Look at these other ones here. Nibius, Rocket Lab. Nah, Rocket Lab. That thing is rocketing. Nibius, EOS up 10% today. Critical Minerals, or CRM, Critical Metals. What? Let's take a look at this one here. It's up to $11. CRML, is that the CRML one? Oh man. NE is up 75%. Oh my God, I hope not. I'm gonna be so mad. I'm gonna be so mad. Oh, no, I thought you were talking about up 75% today. Whew. Thank God, I'm trying to buy that. I don't want to miss that. I don't want to miss that one. You scared me for a second. All right, let's graph these. We got 10 minutes, 9 minutes. All right, well, this was the opportunity right here. I've been talking about this red line. We keep extending it, right? Anytime it touches that red line, not a bad idea to load up on some more or get defensive if it breaks, right? I'm still not chasing it. I have not opened up my position on UAMY. Told everyone I am planning on buying 100 shares here, but I'm not there right now. Just a little overextended for my opinion. Serve Robotics. I kind of like this. Looks like could be at a breakout soon. Just going off this candlestick right here. Rejection last time, but this time looks like there's some fuel in the tank. Because we only got, what? We're closer to the end of the trading session, approaching 1 o'clock. We got a full body candlestick. The last thing I want to see, though, is a big upper wick at the end of today, right? You know, history sometimes likes to repeat itself. Because if we get past this little resistance zone, I'll say it's a zone, we got a big gap to fill, right? So I'm not going to go off the valuation or the earnings per share because it's not great by all means. But the relative timing is telling me there's could be a potential trade set up here for the bulls. $15. I like this stock. Serve RR is another good robotics play. All right, I'm gonna write that one down. Interesting. But I do like this this trade setup for the bulls. Rocket Lab here. If I keep extending this, we're closer to a resistance level, right? Not saying it can't keep going up, but that's a values not. I do like the earnings per share is turning around, but I would be more on the side of getting ready to take profits. Not there yet. Than opening up a position because again, look at the line. Typically, we got resistance. If it breaks above this line, yeah, it'll probably be a big parabolic move. But I don't know if we'll see if there's enough gas in the tank. But that relative timing is telling me that's probably not going to be the case. Looks like the momentum to the upside waning here, creating a little bit of a bearish divergence. So that bearish divergence could play out in fruition with some resistance at this trend line here. You gotta love RT. That'll tell you some hidden things there you probably weren't thinking about when it comes to the stock chart. NBIS, still in the stratosphere. Still in the stratosphere. Put the star search on there. Put something to make sure you stay on the right side of the trade if you're in it. Me, I'm not chasing it, that's for sure. But I like it. I like the story behind it. Iron, stratosphere. Whew. That is up almost 300% since I did the video. If you're still holding on it, put the diamond hands in the air. If you got in it based off that video, if you're still holding it, you got some diamond hands. Even though you didn't have to have strong diamond hands because there wasn't much volatility. It looked pretty straight shot up there other than this little pullback here. But if you live through this pullback, boom, stratosphere. I like it. Put some likes in the room if you got in the iron based off that video. Joseph says, yeah, I'm holding iron. You can see here's the lines probably when I did the video. There's the breakout. Look, that is gorgeous. And again, it ain't about the crypto. The crypto will help. Yeah, if the Ethereum, the Bitcoin, all that goes to the moon, yeah, they'll probably take the stocks with it, right? But in case that doesn't work out, you got the AI backup play, right? it's just beautiful. It's a win-win for them. It's a win-win right now. Iron is 1. I let get away when RT went over 1. Gotcha. But I mean, look at RT. You can see the weakness right here. But RT letting you know. I mean, RT would have got you in before I would even, was talking about it. There it is. There's the trend. And then, you know me, RT's in our favor. Earnings per share. Turnaround story, too. Beautiful stuff. I tell you right now, if iron ever crashes, I wouldn't mind trying to get back in that thing. And maybe if we're lucky one day, we could probably maybe touch 30. If it crashed down, maybe this might be a nice level of support here. But we're not having that conversation today. But we'll see. Go to the moon, though. If the rest of you are holding it, go to the moon. Put it to the moon. Make you some money. All right, here's who. Oh, God. Went from 55 to 85. You got to look at the covered call and the dividend and all that stuff. Make sure it makes sense. Otherwise, Hood, great stock. And I've been talking about the tokenization of the stock market. It's happening. Hood caught in the middle, right in the middle of it. Pivotal. Vlad, he's changed the game. And he's changed it again when it comes to finance. Oh, here's Hood right here. Look at this. There's the parabolic move. Breaking the trend, right? I wouldn't be surprised if we come back a little bit, retest this line. So don't freak out, if it pulls back a little bit. But I want to stay above this line. As long as it stays above this line, I'll at least hold on to some of your Hood, right? At least maybe hold on to some of it. Man, look, earnings per share, relative timing. Even though the stock's overvalued, look at the value. It's still rising. Nice steady Eddie rise in the value. And let's take, I don't know how much of a jump in the value it's had. Went from 13 to now 41. That's a 300% rise just in value there. And I've said it before, if I do get an overvalued stock, I at least want to see some life in the value, right? See the value rising some. Let's see. You're supposed to be more Solana ETFs coming as well. Nice. I imagine there's going to be a lot of crypto ETFs coming. That's only going to expand. You're going to see more. And then you're going to see little baskets of ETFs. And then I'm actually all ETF was like a mixture of Bitcoin and gold. And, there's all kinds of them. And there's only going to be more, right? Only going to be more. And it's... I'm just curious. Let's do this. I see the pressure. It's coming to a point. It's not quite an ascending channel. Interesting. Flowtech. Look at this guy. Undervalued. That value is jumping. Look at this. You can see the ascending channel, right? Boom. So this is what I'm saying. When it breaks an ascending channel, normally you're going to get the break, right? If you forget to sell it, hey, not just talk about Flowtech, but any stock with an ascending channel. This will be a little lesson before we go, right? So we all talked about ascending channels lately. Ascending channel, right? Keep drawing the line up. There's the retest from the bottom end. That is bearish as it can be, right? And it comes back down here, right? But the stock is undervalued. I mean, the stock was what, 6? I keep telling you, if you see a stock in the VectorVest 7 system that's undervalued and it's like cheaper than $5-10, that's what I've been saying the last couple weeks. That's what I'm looking for personally. And look, rising earnings per share. Yeah, RT wasn't quite there yet, but it didn't. The first day it was. But that's just beautiful. I like it. And the value keeps rising. Flowtech, FTK. I'll write this one down because I'll forget them. But these are all good stocks here. FTL is a great energy play. Yes, Pennywise sold it last week. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Ripple. Yeah, so now you're getting the diversification ETFs. Simply put, the further you get away from Bitcoin and Ethereum, the more risk you're probably going to be taking, more volatility you could probably expect, right? The XRP, the Solana, the Litecoin, the Stellar would be the next basket. And then after that, you've got all kinds of random coins out there. All right, EOS, look at the parabolic move. They're saying when you get a break above some of these long-term trend lines, expect the parabolic move. But look at that big upper wick, right? Who knows what's going to happen. But the stock went from $4 upward to high, 15, 16. I'd be taking profits on these parabolic breaks, right? Or do some kind of option strategy if you don't want to sell it, right? Take advantage of that. Here's CRML. Ooh, God. John, this is what you're watching today? I know your blood pressure is high. Hopefully, are you holding this bad boy? Look at this guy. What is this? This is a nightmare. Look at this thing. Look at this guy. This thing just looks like a nightmare. Oh, here's an ascending channel right there. Boom. Boom. But yeah, no, I don't know. You got to look at the news on this one. It's $11, but the value ain't going nowhere. The earnings per share. Look at this earnings per share. It went from negative. What is the date line here? This could be a good story right here. Look at this. It went from negative 218. Now it's just a negative 81. So it's Greenland mining deal soon. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. Trump said it. He didn't say it, maybe the most politically right way, but yeah. If you got rare earths in your country, we're probably going to be interested in them. And especially if you're a Western ally, right? No, he didn't say it politically correct, but so yeah, this is a Greenland rare earth mining play. Okay. I'm going to write this one for a different purpose, but it could be a good rare earth play. Let's see what the mine is looking for. Is like riding a bucking bronco on oh my God, I gotta read these comments I gotta read them inside my head before I say them out loud. All right, what time is it? 1 o'clock. We gotta get out of here. But this is interesting. So that's a Greenland rare earth play. Government investing in it. Okay. I mean, say what you want, but the guy tells you pretty much what he's gonna do. So it's, in my opinion, just makes it trading and investing a little bit easier. BTM, this is that Bitcoin. Look at the value on that thing. This is the last talk of the day. I'm gonna leave on a great note here. Trump, stop it in the comment section. But hey, that's what's moving the stocks. Clearly, is what it is, right? Is what it is. I don't like talk politics at work. But BTM, I don't like that upper wick, and no, I'm not gonna jump on it right this second. But look at that value, like earnings per share. I don't know. I got this on the list. Oh, it's definitely on the list. Earnings per share, the value was declining. Earnings per share was declining. The turnaround story is in action right now. In action. But I like this. This is beautiful. Beautiful. I like it. Especially with the whole Stargate thing, because I was looking at the AMD news today, and a lot of that has to do with the Stargate project, right? So massive infrastructure. These government projects, that's what's moving the market right now, right? But not only is this qualify for the undervalued, $5-10 or less kind of thing, but it's hot. It's mining. It's got Bitcoins. Earnings per share is on the rise. And look at the value. Or sorry, not the value, the volume down below. Sucker is ticking up over the last few days. I might have to get me some of that. That might have to be some of me personally here. All right, everybody. Enjoy your afternoon. We're out on a good note. I'll see you guys Wednesday. Take care.